Who is a famous person who is way smarter and more clever than people give them credit for? I'll go first.
These are rapid fire questions. You just answer them first thing that comes to your mind. Favorite color?
Clairol, number 249.
That's funny. Do you get tired of dumb blonde jokes?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Because we know we're not dumb and we know we're not blonde.
First thing you do when you get out of bed in the morning?
I usually get up, put on my clothes, and go home.
Oh! That's what I'm talking about.
Actually, I used that before.
Okay, we're running out of time, so they're telling me to skip down to the last question. Are they real?
Well, of course not. Do you think I could ever grow my nails that long?
Who is a famous person who is way smarter and more clever than people give them credit for?
This woman right fucking here, Miss Lady Gaga. Miss Girl literally has the IQ score of a genius. Scoring at 166, the highest IQ score ever recorded was 238. Literally in the top 0.1% population of the world. She sang in over 5 different languages in her songs, being Swedish, Spanish, Italian, German. Not to mention she studied at one of the most pristine art schools in New York and also attended NYU. She was just so ahead of her time in so many ways that have to do with our society today. She was an advocate for gay rights, trans rights from the very beginning. She was just so ahead of her time. I feel like when she was blowing up, everyone kind of painted her out to be this crazy, like, gone wild pop star, when in reality, she's a fucking genius.
Who is a famous person who is way smarter and more clever than people give them credit for?
Dolph Lundgren. He's probably most famous for playing Ivan Drago in the Rocky movies. You know, I must break you. He's a Swedish actor with a long list of credits. He is a second dan black belt in Kyokushin karate. But this man has a degree from Washington State University in chemical engineering, as well as a degree in chemical engineering from the Swedish Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm. He is actually on his way to MIT on a Fulbright scholarship when Grace Jones hired him as a bodyguard, and it kind of kickstarted his entertainment career. This man is fucking smart.
Who is a famous person who is way smarter and more clever than people give them credit for?
This is one of the things that drives me fucking nuts about this country sometimes. People with the stance, just shut up and sing, shut up and dance, shut up and act. As if suddenly, because someone became famous, they're not allowed to have an opinion. And the same free speech that y'all claim to embrace so much. One of my favorite clapbacks of all time came from Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine and Audioslave, who, after putting this on his guitar, was basically told that because he was a musician, he didn't have the right or the knowledge to have an opinion. To which he replied, one does not have to be an honors grad in political science from Harvard University to recognize the unethical and inhumane nature of this administration, but, well, I happen to be an honors grad in political science from Harvard University, so I can confirm that for you. Fucking legend.
Who is a famous person who is way smarter and more clever than people give them credit for?
28, I'm nearly 30 next year.
No, you're not.
I am.
You're 28.
Yes, that means I'm 30 next year.
What about
29?
Do you skip it now?
29's this year though, isn't it?
Oh!
Nearly
right.
29.
Okay,
Did
well
I just
done.
trick you?
Yes,
You
you
did?
did.
Wallet, man.
Who is a famous person who is way smarter and more clever than people give them credit for?
Misha Collins, 110%. People see him and think of him as Castiel, as an actor. They don't really understand who he actually is. This man went to preparatory school and also graduated with a degree in social theory from the University of Chicago. He interned in Bill Clinton's White House. He married his high school sweetheart. He is a well-respected and accomplished poet and author. He is the co-founder and board president of Random Acts, which is a charity organization that inspires random acts of kindness all across the world. And he also founded Gish, which is the greatest international scavenger hunt. This is a charity organization that is world record holding. The things that it has done since it was established in 2011 are nothing short of miracles. But sometimes people just see him as Cass. And yeah, he was great, but he's so much more.
Who is a famous person who is way smarter and more clever than people give them credit for?
That's what everyone wants to know, right? What's she going to look like when she dies? What's she going to look like when she's overdosed on whatever they think I'm overdosing on. Everybody wants to see the decay of the superstar.
Do you think people want to see your decay?
What? Of course they do. They want to see me fail. They want to see me fall on stage. They want to see me vomiting out of a nightclub. I mean, isn't that the age that we live in? That we want to see people who have it all lose it all? I mean, it's dramatic.
And then climb their way back.
Right. It's a movie.
Who is a famous person who is way smarter and more clever than people give them credit for?
The hip-hop world in general, and I got a couple examples. Mike Will made it, the producer behind Humble, We Can't Stop, and Black Beatles. His dad was a former IBM executive. It's safe to say those genes were passed down. Waka Flocka got a 35 on his ACT. 1 point less than a perfect score, which is what Bill Gates got. 4 points higher than Steve Jobs. Kanye West's mom was an English professor who ended up working in China. A young Kanye moved there with her and was fluent in Chinese by the end of his first year. Kanye did end up going to college to study English and art, but ended up dropping out to pursue his promising music career. But he did end up getting an honorary doctorate degree from the Art Institute of Chicago, which means he's no longer a college dropout and is officially Dr. Kanye.
Who is a famous person who is way smarter and more clever than people give them credit for?
Waka Flocka Flame is so much smarter than you can ever imagine. He scored the equivalent of a 35 on the ACT. And to put that in perspective, fucking Steve Jobs and Barack Obama scored less than him on the ACT. And they went to pretty prestigious colleges. Yes, he thought the sign language interpreter at one of his concerts was dancing. But he's still a fucking genius.
Who is a famous person who is way smarter and more clever than people give them credit for? I'll go first.
If you, like myself, grew up in the 90s, you remember The Offspring. Why don't you get a job? Gotta get away, self-esteem, pretty fly for a white guy. What a lot of us don't know, a lot of people do not know, is that the singer of those songs, Dexter Holland, went on to get his PhD in molecular biology from the University of Southern California. The guy has published papers regarding microRNA on HIV genomes. How is pretty fly for a white guy that smart?